Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you all here. I hope you had a fantastic day and so on. And you're wondering, Chris, you starting this Jedi Order Fallen game again, or are you kind of serious or crazy? No, we have one thing, actually two things left to do. But I'm not sure if it is possible to get this done. And that is... Oh... This made a terrible mistake. Oh, my ears. We have one thing done. We have the story of Skoova Stev. And we didn't find one Skoova Stev. And that is insanely unfortunate, chat. That is on multiple layers of existence unfortunate. That it is unacceptable to not have this done right now. So we will have to find. So we didn't find one encounter, one fish. Which is, in my opinion, very, very unfortunate. And that is a problem. Because now we have to do it now. I was too tired last time I streamed to find them and put energy into it. But now I'm kind of in the mood. Not in the mood, but we just look into them. After that we do something else. I'm not sure what. Either we play Zelda or Elden Ring or I don't know what. I hope sound is good, chat. Let me just make the in-game sound on. I had to, or yeah, I changed something in my sound settings, and I'm not sure if I returned it back to normal. That is a problem, of course. But we completed the game last time. For people wondering, Chris, what's going on with this particular short section here? We completed Fallen Order last time. Just some optional stuff is left. As the bounties. I read, though, that the bounties might be bugged. So maybe we can't complete the bounties anymore, which I would find not great. So maybe if a patch comes out, we make the remaining bounties. And yeah, we have to go into the cantina really quick and figure out which of these fishes we have not found. This is, by the way, yeah, post stuff credits scene thing here. I hope we can still do it. It would be very annoying if we couldn't. Okay, so I have a fantastic little list here. And we look into it to figure stuff out really quick. Also, yeah, there's an interesting tweet of... This is an interesting tweet. Let me just see it. Here it is. By no other than Eiji Aonuma, the creator of Zelda, and he said, when he announced in March 2022 a delay for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the game was pretty much complete. The last year was spent on polish, making sure the wild physics of the game just work. So yeah, it was an interesting interview in the Washington Post, I think it was, and just noticed it. So it's very amazing in this context that, yeah, I basically would want to say that is how you do it. People who like EA, that's how you do it. And Zelda came out in a really impressive state, unlike our other friends. But whatever. Here from this game. So we have multiple things. Oh, Scoova Stev is diving in the tank as well. Look at this. That's cool. You see that? Where was Scoova Stev? Oh, there he is. I have to wait a turn. There he is. Scoova Stev is diving here in the tank. That's pretty cool. There he is. Whee! And we see like all kinds of fishes here. There he dives. I'm actually not sure where we can see him. There's also our little friend here. I have to admit, I forgot the word for it. What is it called, Chad? Jellyfish. Yeah, now I remember. But pretty nice. So we have the fingerglip garpon. We have the fingerglip garpon. Then we have the sea fish. Sea fish we have. Then we have the big mouse phar. Big mouse phar we have. Then we have the frilled newt. That is missing. No, there it is. The frilled newt. Yeah. This was the one in the swamps, I think. So what's interesting is we go through all the 11 fishes and see what fish is missing. All fishes seem to be on Kobo or Jedi. I suspected that you could make Scoova Stevs. We're seeing here swimming through the screen. Maybe also go to Tenelor and fish there. Fish that nobody has ever heard before or something like this. But it seems not to be the case. So we have the barbed hookfish. Barbed hookfish number 1. Okay. We have the me fish. We have it as well. We have the glottus something scrap. I know we have that one. I don't see it. Yeah, there it is. We have the bluefin crayfish. That is missing. In the Neko pools. Big finger first must me fish. That's missing. Get on a Neko, head upwards to the bygone settlement area, and he will be near the border. Neko pools. Bygone settlement area. Okay, let's go there and see if we find Scoova Stev. It's also nice that now the tank is clean. And we have everything that needs to be there. Yeah, last time I already gave you kind of my thoughts on the game, which yeah, I plan to make a video, a little review for the main channel. And oh, I should have went here faster. And then we see what it brings. Then I may want to do something about the Zelda thing. We still have to play it a little bit. The Gollum game though comes out soon, and Zelda is not that high of a priority. I want to do 2 Cyberpunk videos, that for sure, and stuff like that. So there's this. We have 2 skill points. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with those? Can't get this here. We got pretty much everything. What was this again? I perform a spinning type attack on releasing. Let's just do that. Precision release. Okay, fast travel. Bygone settlement. Neko pools. Where are the Neko pools? Fast travel to the area. Head upwards the bygone settlement area. You will be near the border. No, there's the second one. The ending is kind of sad, but it seems there might be another game somewhere. Necropools. Are these the necropools? Oh gosh.
Stev, no. I'm not the enemy.
Necropools, chat. Also, yeah, it's very unfortunate in this context. Near the border. Oh, we have to check it in a video or something, chat. Bluefin crystal thing. Okay. Maybe there is a naming convention that I misinterpreted. Let's go back to the point here.
Jump.
Necropools, chat. Isn't that a completely different place? Must be. It must be on a different way. Here it is. Maybe we did some sequence break or overlooked something. I can't really explain where this might be. Get on a Neko, okay. Here we get on our friend. Then we go up the alley and then it should be already there. And maybe we didn't go back or something like this. We have to go through this door. Remember that one as well. And there he is. Might have just overlooked him. That we were definitely in this area. But maybe he spawns at the other location first, and when we did it, we did not come back here. But yeah, chat, it seems to be... We have to go here. Jump up. And up here is Scoova Stev, and here we find the last... Yeah, here he is. What was the sound?
Stay safe, you hear?
Ah, this is why this area looked so familiar. Okay, chat. Let's talk to Skoova Stev.
Hey, Skoova.
Notice anything different?
Can't say I do.
Must say, laddie, it's a sparkle with grease. Now you may ask, Skoova, you old salt, have you lost your rudder? Are you planning to cook yourself into buttered jam?
The thought crossed my mind.
No, lad. I'll show you.
Okay, scuba diving. We got the achievement. Bluefinned cavefish. There he is. Maybe the... You know what? Maybe the game crashed and we didn't redo this as section or something like this. Okay, let's read it. The bluefinned crayfish. It's an interesting looking fish. The bluefinned crayfish is a rarity in Kobo. Prospectors thought once to catch the elusive creature and sell it at a high price, but ended up declaring the fish a myth. However, the crayfish does exist, yet has evaded capture through the years by clinging to the outside of rocks and letting its fins sway like waves in the rippling water. Even when spotted, its hydrodynamic body easily slips through grabbing hands. But not for Skoova Stev.
You see that, lad? The bluefinned crayfish is a fearsome warrior. Not just because its claws are sharper than the bristles on my lip, but also because it's as slippery as a shiver pea taking an afternoon dip. So, how do you fight slippery? By being muckle slippery yourself.
I'll remember that next time I'm in a bind.
Oh, and I've only just begun, lad. If you've a moment, I'll continue my tale.
That is the last part of
When
his
I
tale.
awoke from my last duel with Wanyak, it was on the deck of a fishing schooner. It seemed my speared carcass had bobbed to the surface and been caught by a local fisher.
What about Captain Wet? Did he survive?
If that sack of seared slime yet plagues the galaxy, I've nae heard stem the stern of him, nor of his crew. Perhaps more importantly, the ordeal awoke me to the truth. I had no desire to spear fish, nor fisher. I had no desire to cross harpoons with dread captains, or to skewer the deadliest fish. In the hurly-burly of it all, I lost sight of myself. The fisherwoman who caught me, she knew of a nearby world with a great multitude of fishes. Kobo. So to Kobo did I go. And since, I've realized why I like to fish.
Why's that?
Because I like fish, Cal. I like shiny fish. I like big fish and small fish. I like fish with eyes splayed wide and fish with eyes pointed straight. I even like fish with no eyes at all. And I like seeing the face on lubbers like you when they realize just how many kinds of fish there are in this galaxy. Well, that be my tale, Cal. Perhaps it was no as gloomy as I kent.
You went through a lot. I'm glad you're okay, Skoova.
Oh, thank you, lad.
Thank you. You've given me a lot to think about.
Aye, lad. Go ahead and ponder. But don't ponder your years down the river. There's always another fish.
Beep boop boop. Such tenacity. Skoova was rescued by a local fisherwoman who sent him to Kobo with stories of the wondrous fish in its waters. These are our last things. There's even more.
I tell you, lad, that metal shark in the sky is giving me splinters from head to toe.
I'm no fan of Star Destroyers either.
Don't they know that fishes need sunlight to grow ruddy and strong?
Not sure wildlife preservation is on the Empire's list of priorities.
Oh, I'll be on their list of priorities soon enough.
Easy, Skoova.
All right. I'll let him off the hook for now.
This is Skoova Stev's story. Oh, that's extra. I forgot about this ability.
They're after you.
How can we win? A fantastic question.
Come on, coward! Focus your fire! In the name of the Empire!
Name of the Empire, do as if I care. The stupid Empire. Who's that dude? Oh god. Oh god.
I need something, buddy.
Did we get everything here, chat? I think we did. Oh. You also get here. I forgot that you can get from to this place from here. Interesting. Oh, I know. Forgot to limit the frame rate. That might why it looks a bit strange. Yeah, we got everything. Since we had the dash jump, we could make the distances here.
Come on.
For real. Okay, chat. That was Skoova Stev. I would say we go back to Pylon Saloon. And there we check what else we might have to do or not. Beep boop boop. We can find Skoova here one more time. But we got his achievement now. And have completed and found all the fishes. It could have been like this fish looks so familiar. Maybe the game crashed and we forgot to redo it. Very unfortunate.
Hey, Cal, good to see you.
Let's talk later, Cal. Yeah?
You ever think about taking trips off world, Turgle?
Maybe, but I'd keep my home base here, of course. But I imagine owning multiple luxury homes across the galaxy. As my fame and fortune grow, I hear the lakes on Naboo are beautiful this time of year. And Diego's got 1,000 moons. 1,000! That's so many! I'm really busy, Cal. Maybe later.
Oh, she's unfortunate. She's unfortunately bugged. I hope they patched this and we might do the bounties.
Back later, yeah?
Well, here we are. Nearly as many empty seats as when you first walked in here.
The Empire's never good for business.
Outer Rim's a tough place. Its selling point was being stormtrooper free until a few years ago.
That Empire.
Another time.
I think we went through all the dialogues here of the late game stuff. Very unfortunate, chat.
So how did the outpost get its start?
Like most good things, it all started with a dream. The vision of one sharp-eyed Walloona named Doma Dendra. Not 2 months after she gets here, but her general store pops into being. And the rest of the outpost didn't take long to follow.
Couldn't have been easy.
Doma looked at the first wild-eyed hooligans on Kobo and saw hard workers. Dreamers like her. A whole bloody community.
I can see why you all stick by her.
That's right. What's there but to follow someone like that, eh? Oi, Cal. Good to see you.
Ah, final dialogue with Skoova.
Well, lads,
Maybe.
we've done it. A tank throbbing with the finest fish. A tale told to the utmost. An innocent young boy's eyes opened to the wide galaxy.
Something like that. What's next for you?
I've been asking myself just that. In recounting my infamous annals, I've been... something's gnawing at my innards, lad. A black notion that perhaps, just perhaps, one ye quit isn't truly dead. For Sakavitar, and for my own peace, I must know. Perhaps it'll be tomorrow. Perhaps a year from tomorrow. But I fear I must pursue my dread nemesis one last time.
I understand. Hey, if you ever need anything.
I know, lad. I know.
The end question mark. Scoova's tale may be over for now, but he's haunted by a hunch that perhaps Captain Wet is not yet truly slain. Good old Skoova. Look at him.
Do you know the hardest aspect of my new life here?
Does it rhyme with gurgle?
It does not. Good guess, though. Rather, it's my lack of purpose.
What sort of things did you used to do?
Oh, everything from cataloging data disks to collating star maps.
Well, I'd
Sounds
say you have a
interesting.
purpose. Everyone here seems to be happier since you arrived.
For now, sure. But next week they'll be pulling up some 400-year-old droid, I imagine.
I doubt it, Z. You're one of a kind.
We'll speak later. Go on, sit forth.
Keep your eyes out for the Empire.
No, they're also gone. Kind of sad in a way. Like you fill this place with so many interesting people and characters and get dialogues and missions and so on. And then at the end, the Empire comes and all have to go.
At some point, I might need you to vacate your spot at the bar.
Is it time for its annual cleaning?
Paid on monthly, my pungent friend. But listen, an old associate might be paying me a visit.
You have associates?
Look, I know I've occasionally been hard on you, and to be honest, you deserved every bit of it. But if someone named Dreo comes in here asking for me, just put in a good word, will you?
Well, what's it worth to you?
I'll owe you one.
Oh no. Big mistake. So yeah, that is the... Can we talk to Greece?
Canteen empty out. It's making me nostalgic about how the whole thing started.
Must have been tough in the beginning.
Oh, tough. Tough doesn't even begin to describe it. First off, the entire place was a mess. Stains everywhere. Mostly old food, drinks, a few body parts. I even found a shiverpede nest. Tried removing it while they tried removing my head. And it took 2 weeks before we had reliable power and water.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, it was. Oh, it was back then. But now, funny. It all seems like a great story that I wish I could live again. I'll be here, Cal.
I kind of said that the outpost is emptying again just because this annoying Star Destroyer shows up. At least some people are still here. We could go to Doma. Maybe she also has some final dialogue or so. But yeah, we also... I tried to get all the dialogue here because I found this interesting. The idea I found pretty cool. This little hub becomes like your home base. And it's fine. No, Doma has nothing to say.
Take a look around. You
I have 2 more things here. Can't buy anything.
Bye now.
So now we could go and get the last few database entries that we were missing. We could try getting... I would like to get the bounties, to be honest, because... I don't know. I'm curious what happens if we get all of that.
We can talk later.
This is your spot, huh?
It's nice. I like the plants. Nothing would grow on the base. I saw a holovid once of a planet that was so green. Papa said he'd take me there one day.
If you find the planet's name, I'll take you there.
Okay.
So... yeah, we have basically done almost everything. Oh, here's something we overlooked. Here was something. Yeah, the ship of boat was parked here, so we have another vision here. We could find that. And probably more of those.
Does he suspect you?
Not a chance. I wouldn't have survived the purge if I couldn't become someone else. Rest of the crew is gone. I know the kind of friend he needs right now.
You always excelled at the art of disguise.
Disguises. Boat report into Denvik, sharing an update on the fate of the heist crew. Denvik comments on the success of the mission so far, which boat credits to his ability before and during the Jedi Purge. It's still a weird story, I have to admit. And maybe, just maybe, one problem is excuse me, just have to focus here for a moment. Definitely a problem is maybe just the motivation is a bit strange. I feel like the first part of the game, story-wise, is very disconnected from the second in a way, though it is connected. It's not like it's completely unrelated. You can go up here? The game is sometimes really inconsistent. Like in some other situations, oh no, we slide down this very unsteep thing here, and here you can just go up. It's definitely... The game has some inconsistency issues, I feel often. It's sometimes a bit unfortunate, I have to say. But overall, it was a great game, a great journey. But yeah, the boat motivation is a bit strange, and after the ending is very harsh, I feel. I read some reviews and some people discussing the ending online after completing the game. And yeah, some people compare it to The Empire Strikes Back. But I never felt Empire Strikes Back had this grim of a feeling, you know? Everything you did in this game, everything you placed here is now basically, yeah, it's probably a good phrasing, overshadowed by the Star Destroyer at the end. And even though there were Imperial bases, it felt a little bit, everything was for nothing, kind of. I mean, we now got the Tenelor stuff, but you feel like, I don't know, very empty. This is a very, almost a nihilistic ending, I would, oh god, for real. You know what I mean? It's, in this regard, almost depressing, I would say. Like, you filled this cantina, you brought hope back to this place, you had an impact at the end, just because the story says so, even though it kind of makes sense that the Empire then shows up here at some point. But it was also around before, and now you see this as a Star Destroyer, and everybody thinks, oh no, not the Empire, let's get out of here, find another place. The potential of Kobo, the opportunities, all is basically done by now. I mean, you have this amazing tech here, and we could use it, and the question is, if we can use it, maybe the Empire can as well, even though I don't fully see that happening, to be honest. Considering how close and difficult it was to get through the thing. And we have a compass and so on and so forth. You can bring the hidden paths here. So I don't know if it's a really good idea. But it was the same on Jeddah, like the Empire was also there. And just maybe too many places to have an eye on. And then especially the whole boat story, like that is a story that really stings. Like, it really... It was a cool character, you learn to like him, and then at the end, yeah, he pulls that betrayal on you. That's, in my opinion, yeah. Some would say it's a good twist, but it feels like, I don't know. We lost so much through this. It felt very, almost forced, like, I don't know what I mean. Everything you did so far feels kind of pointless, if that makes sense. And the difference, I think, why it's not a good comparison to compare it with The Empire Strikes Back. Mr. Calcastus, go up there, else I get very angry. Oh, he even jumps automatically. That's what I wanted to try. Just have to press one button. I don't have to go into the jump and then wait for the X. I can just go to the X and the animation would start. Interesting to know. Yeah, but Empire Strikes Back, in Empire Strikes Back, it feels like, yeah, they get chased down by the Empire, but they always escape. They always find like a new hold, and it doesn't feel so. I feel so grim. Luke Skywalker survives the encounter with Darth Vader at the end, which is good. He returns to he completes, or he at least starts his what do you call it? His training with Yoda in this. He learns a lot. He faces the dark side. He kind of learns the truth and so on. There's like a lot of cool moments in this, and you are kind of curious how it goes on from here. In this case, it feels more hopeless. Like, okay, you have Tenelor, but you've lost so many cool characters for just a very strong plot twist. The plot twist is really strong in this game, but I'm not sure if it's like you can't just carry a whole storytelling of 2 or then maybe later 3 games on this huge plot twist. You know what I mean? Like it feels a bit that maybe this plot twist destroyed too much, at least in my opinion, to work with it, to get something out of this. If that makes sense. Like, the plot twist is really messy here in this. Like, the whole story. For all the characters, it's not a great situation. Like, Cal and Marin have lost 2 friends of theirs. Cal has lost his old anti-Empire crew, his friends. Like, Cal has lost so much in this game. And then also the Hidden Path base, the Jedi Archive, it's destroyed. Not much is left. You know what I mean? Like, especially Sia lost everything. Again, I guess. It feels overly dramatic for the character, I feel. Almost unfitting. Like, I think, you know, Star Wars was always, never went into, like, a very depressing state, I felt. That was simply not the DNA of Star Wars. Star Wars always had some kind of optimism in it. And I'm kind of lacking the optimism here, because first of all, we know how the Empire, how Vader will be defeated. We know how the Empire will potentially go down. Let's not talk. Let's just ignore the existence of the sequel trilogy completely and just never talk about it again. That's my approach of handling this abomination of terrible films. But these abominations and these terrible films. No, I can't form the sentence. The films are an abomination and terrible films. That's what I want to say. Let's not talk about those and their story, but they definitely feel like the people who made this have not really understood what Star Wars is about, in my opinion. That's a different story, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. It's in this context, on this regard, for me personally, very difficult to handle this, or to put this into a perspective, to see where do we go from here. We know it is not Cal forming a new Jedi Order. We know, like, we already we know how the films will end, how the canon story is. This is not, I'm not sure how canon this year is considered or not by Disney standards, and they showed that they don't care about retconning stuff or whatever, and replacing it with terrible other stuff. And maybe, I don't know, when Disney is bought by, I don't know, some other company at some distant future, then everything is again for nothing again. That's just, yeah, potentially the way how it could be or could be handled. And then it doesn't really matter anymore. That I find like very also a problem.
Unlikely. I don't even have boots.
These guys.
There you are. Way ahead of you. I wish there was room.
And yeah, that is, in my opinion, is it a big problem? I'm not sure if that is too strong a word to call it a big problem.
Let's stop here.
But for me, it kind of feels like a problem in the story. Like the story here at the very end, even though it grabbed me and it was intense and emotionally. It was not bad by any means, I think, for the most part. It still left me very, very empty, not knowing where to even go from here. I had to focus here for a moment. Yeah, and that I saw as like a huge little problem for me personally. That this feels so hopeless. So yeah, it can't lead anywhere anyway, because the implications of this game might be far too big. Like the game puts on some shoes that are just very, very big. With saying, yeah, Cal might rebuild the Jedi Order. Cal might do that, might do this. He promised Seer that he would continue her work and so on, which is all great, but you know, in the end, it doesn't matter. In the overall context, or was it this?
Good find, BD.
Turgle's shiny shell. This is Turgle's shell. Oh, that's cool. That is even in the game. Outpost residents will warily attest to Turgle's elation at having found a peculiar, remarkable shell, and his subsequent despair at having lost it. This appears to be that shell, though it is it's no means provable, nor worthy of further investigation. Yeah, it's kind of cool that stuff like this can pop up on the map. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just... unfortunately, the nature of the story just makes it all so incredibly pointless. And that I find very sad. I would wish it would not be that pointless. And the story, like I said, the whole betrayal of this, like, that is just... The betrayal of both is just so extreme in this. You could say, yeah, but isn't that cool? You could argue it kind of is, and it's a bit... We have also some historical figures where we had like kind of an agent that was put in there, and I don't know, was it, I think the death of Trotsky, where it was also like somebody, and the person who killed him, I think at the end was even like engaged with his daughter or something like this, and then at one point he came into his room and I think, I don't know, hit something in his, hit his head with something and killed him this way. It's kind of insane if you think about that. That somebody lives like a whole life undercover and, I don't know, just to get the trust and wait for the right moment to strike. And it was kind of similar with Boat. He had a motive, but it's in my opinion not the best motive. Like, he trusts the Empire. Like, you have this rebel group that is doing all kinds of things, and Boat was also pretty capable, I think. And he's not able to, I don't know. Like, he cut a deal with the Empire, and he thinks the Empire is holding up to this deal. It's the Empire. Like, why wouldn't you know better? And he had a very strong motivation because the Empire killed his wife, to not trust the Empire at all, to be angry at the Empire. Then he goes to people who actively fighting the Empire and sacrifices so many lives and so many things they build, and betrays them. That is just too extreme. At the end, you even try to say, okay, Boat, we'll give you a chance for the sake of your daughter. And he just goes absolute crazy mode. I don't know, chat. I'm not the hugest fan of this. Like, I felt like it was just too twisted for Star Wars. And I wouldn't say it ruined the story for me. Definitely not. But, yeah, I don't know. I remember playing through this game, I think it was two days ago. On Friday, I think we completed it or something. And I felt so empty after this. I thought, okay, all we did, everything is now for nothing. Like, our friends died. The whole story, like, it was such a powerful twist in a way. But it was also so... I did a lot of mistakes here. We still have this dark side struggle with Kel, which is like a classic Star Wars motive. I can't say it's not. Doesn't he have to reload at some point? Knew it. Yeah, it's...
I really need a stem. Great timing.
It is kind of powerful, but it's also, you know, it leaves a sour taste back. Like, you see no hope because, you know, they won't do anything. They could maybe hide. They could maybe things. It also feels so cold by Boat to basically say, yeah, he lost everything. He's in a bad situation. Lost his crew. I know how to press him. What buttons I have to press to get him his trust. What kind of friends he needs. It feels so calculated, so incredibly cold. And that I found like highly depressing. Oh, I hate this attack so much. So these guys just are far too powerful.
What? Heavy damage.
Buddy, help!
Huh. Oh, at least we got the skill point, that's good.
It's nice here, huh? I often come up for the view.
I see why. It's beautiful.
Just watch your step.
Yeah, no kidding.
Huh? Ah, here the thing is, okay. Just wondered where this prompt is coming from. And yeah, I don't know, it's just how are you supposed to ever trust somebody again if somebody can play you this hard? And he was also a Force user, and both Marin and Carl did not figure it out. Like, it seems, and even Thea and Cordova Like, so many Jedis trusted him and persons, and he betrayed them. That felt a little bit, let's say, too much.
This building is definitely different than the rest. So what'd you find?
The gun? Unusual silo. Oh, wrong one. Looming over the nearby outpost and the valley, this enormous silo is a mystery to the residents of Rambler's Reach, who know only that it was constructed by a strange and reclusive prospector some time ago. None of them have ever dared to try and venture within. I hope you know what I mean, like...
Nice find. Let's take this back to Z.
Yeah, it's just... It's a bit too much, in my opinion. It's just too grim. Now he also has a daughter. Now we have the daughter. We killed her father. What does she think of us? It's like, you know, the daughter is also, in my opinion, I wouldn't say a problem. It sounds weird. But what is definitely very noticeable. Come on, can you? It's very noticeable that we expect from the daughter that she understands why we killed her father. And now we are basically making her grow up. I find this very strange. Like, why would a child be so much smarter than her father? Like it's like that's a lot you put on the shoulders of this young girl from a character writing standpoint. And she has to act and say, yeah, she's of course not happy. Maybe she has seen what has become out of her father, but children are not always very rational, you know what I mean? We expect her to have the wisdom to understand what all this was for. I mean, the conflict is not resolved yet, and there's potentially more to it, and who knows, maybe becomes the Padawan of Cal or something like this. But also here, we know she is not the one bringing the Empire to fall. And I don't know what you could do with this. This is a problem. Star Wars has a bit of a problem sometimes with this when you use this particular era of the Empire, which is interesting, iconic, and cool. But if you make the stories too big in the context of overall Star Wars, you always run into the problem that they will never reach full impact, because we know how the Empire ends. So you can't make them, you can make them fight the Empire and do stuff. That's a problem I always had with the expanded universe and other stuff. That often feels like, yeah, if you put it into this period of the time and so on, if you don't use the characters like Han and Luke and, I don't know, Obi-Wan and whatever, then it becomes difficult for these characters to have an impact, because they clearly had no impact on the overall things. Now we have this hidden past stuff, but we also have the rebels still. What with the rebels? They're not part of the story, and now we have this here, which the Empire might find hugely interesting, especially that several Jedis and Force sensitive are running around in Kobo and they just showing off their lightsaber all the time. Like, why would the stormtroopers not report to the Empire, and they send like purge troopers all the time? I mean, purge troopers are even here on the planet already. Why would they not? And if purge troopers can't handle the problem, then why would not Vader personally come and hunt us down? Like, you know what I mean? It feels strange that they let us just do whatever and so on. We can just go here, land here. It's sometimes a bit hard to believe. That's why I usually think the best way to work in this era is doing these smaller stories that are not on this huge scale. Lasers, finding stuff, defeating the First Order, attacking the Inquisitorious thing there, facility in the first game, and so on. Like, this is, we made contact with Vader already and ran from him. Seer has fought him here now again, and so on. It's very big already. You could say, yeah, there are a lot of stories like this, but it's also not that necessary all Vader stories are good that were written afterwards. You know what I mean? It's... yeah, I don't know. I liked that when Vader in the first game appeared, it feels okay. Vader is just too powerful. Just run, get away. I was kind of happy with the ending of Fallen Order. I think that was overall, the story-wise, the better connected package overall. They had an interesting little story, and they had the holocron, and they decided to destroy the holocron. It was the only right choice to do in the first game. And in this regard, I feel like that yeah, that the you know, was this the big story or the big thing why the Empire should be interested in them and so on kind of ended. But now, you know, it's different, I feel. Now we're still running around, we have this Tenelor, we have now a place for the hidden paths and so on. I mean, of course, Bode also, I guess, maybe would have sided with Cal and his friends and said if they could just live alone on Tenelor, but when Cal suggested that and Seer wanted to put the hidden paths there, he noticed, okay, that would draw the Empire towards them. So I can kind of understand that he maybe wants to steal the stuff and escape, but killing Cordova, like cold-blooded and so on, without any reasoning going on, that felt very off and strange in my opinion. Like, they were good friends and so on. I felt like that's the reason why I can't say this conflict of this game, especially with Bode, felt very forced in my opinion. I said it's a strong twist, but it also damages a lot, and for me it felt a bit forced. And I don't know. I don't know if I like where the story is kind of going. But I'm also maybe a bit weird when it comes to this. I know there is like a tendency in storytelling to make characters like suffer a lot, and you know, Game of Thrones stuff, no character is safe in the early seasons and so on. I don't know. Not huge into Game of Thrones stuff, but everybody can die and everybody can betray everyone and so on. Yeah, cool. But not every story has to be, I don't know, like this. Sometimes you also want maybe something more light-hearted. And here it feels like, okay, for Cal and for Merrin and so on, this might not, for Carter, this might not take a good end here from this point. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, they could just hide on Tenelor all the time and nothing happens and live there happy ever after. But yeah, I don't know. The problem is that the main action, what you spend a majority here in this game doing, it feels at the end it has no impact. Like, you built this here up and tried stuff, and then, you know, at the end it has almost no impact anymore. That's just so unfortunate. It feels like everything here you did was for nothing. Now we see the Star Destroyer up here. The Empire is knowing. They know we are here. We have to flee. We have to contact the Hidden Order and so on. There's also so much still to do in the game. It ends very open. Like, it feels like there's a lot of unfinished business. And now the game just says, yeah, you have to contact the Order. You have to make preparations for Tenelor and so on. And that is maybe in the next game or so. Cool. But it feels a bit too open and too less contained in this game story-wise. So the ending, I know a lot of people might like the ending and said, yeah, the last hour I really started. You hate Bode for what he did, and you have a really good reason to go after him. And then there's this twist with that he has a daughter, and you can't just, like, Cal is still a kind of Jedi, and you can't just kill him out of revenge, and now he's struggling with the dark side and so on. It's just, for me it feels a little bit too forced. Like there are too many components in this story that plus the notion that they can't have the impact on the Empire they maybe hoped they would have and fight the Empire and so on. And just, yeah, I don't know, sweet talking Cal all the time, and Cal says to him something like, yeah, maybe it needs some people like us to fight the Empire, to stand against it, who else is going to do? And the game basically says, no, dude, maybe you should have just hit all the time and said nothing. That's potentially the best way, like fighting all the time just leads to a lot of stuff. And Cal suffers so greatly from this as a character that, yeah, I don't know, from here it becomes very difficult. We still have, when we go into the to a meditation point, we still have this dark side tendency. And if I now do this, you see here the thing, now we still have the embrace the dark side nonsense. I'm not a huge fan of that, because that takes always control out of me as a character. It also changed the moveset and stuff. I'm not a hugest fan of that. Like, I'm in control. I'm the player here. I don't like when the game dictates me. And we could say, yeah, the dark side, and makes complete sense. Sure, it makes a lot of sense, but it also feels very, pun of course not intended, forced. That all these twists happen in the story. You ask yourself, is this really necessary? I also would have loved to see maybe more, you know, light-hearted ending, a little bit more hope. Like when Luke Skywalker was saved by his friends who also survived. Han could be saved at the end. He did not die. Of course, Luke left early from Yoda's teaching him becoming a Jedi, to the point I don't know what I want to say. Left early, but still he had this. He returned to Dagobah later in the next episode and completes kind of his training with Yoda, and then Yoda also dies of old age, basically becomes one with the Force. You know, there's a lot of stuff still in place. Like, it's not like, yeah, it didn't went well for them, but they are still there. There's still hope. And in this year you could say, yeah, there's Tenelor, but the problem is I can't just blend out that I know that Tenelor has, in the overall stuff of how the Empire is defeated, has no impact. You could say, yeah, maybe Disney expands on this idea at some point, or puts it into some side story or whatever. Yeah, I don't care. I just know it was never the original plan. That is a problem when you... This story is... I think that for me, the biggest problem is it's just too big for what it should be in this particular time. That is so iconic and so... Yeah, the Imperial time is core DNA Star Wars for me. That is where all it began, and it's just as a result so important in how it works. And now we are messing around with it. And sure, you can do this, but I feel like in smaller stories, and not like, yeah, we can now build a new Jedi temple or whatever with a hidden path, helping Force sensitive to escape and build up stuff and form resistance against the Empire. It was just a really, really big story here in the context. Like, this is an actual threat if a lot of Force sensitives find a place to be there and renew the Jedi Order and go after Vader and so on. No matter how powerful Vader and the Emperor are, they are not powerful enough to defeat all the Jedi. They were like, why the Emperor was successful at the end, because nobody knew he was there. He had the moment of surprise. He had betrayal of Anakin Skywalker on his side, else he potentially would have gotten defeated. He maybe had a little bit of, I would always call luck, like if you think about the duel of Yoda and the Emperor at one point. Like, I think Yoda fell off this platform, and that basically led to him needing to retreat. If he would have maybe stood a little bit differently, like if he and the Emperor might have switched positions there, then basically things could have gone pretty differently for the Emperor. And though the Emperor is, of course, very powerful and potent, don't get me wrong, I often feel like that there's definitely a tendency to make him like insanely powerful. I mean, he defeated the Jedi Order for the most part. That makes him already very powerful. But if you see like at some points in prequel trilogy how many Jedis there are in the Order and in the universe and scattered and everywhere, it's just if they have a place to unite and form and the Emperor they have no idea where they are, that's a huge threat for the Empire on the long term if they can just bring new Force sensitives in and so on. Like it's a huge threat for the Empire. That's my opinion, a bit too huge for what this story here should have been, in my opinion. But curious where they go from here, where like the final ideas are. You feel like since Cal can't have this particular impact, but you kind of went with him for such a long time, and he learned to like him. You almost feel bad for him. Just want that maybe he and Merrin can get a break, if that makes sense, from all the stuff here. Maybe also they kind of deserve to also be happy for a moment or a time. And we defeated so many Imperial stuff and won so many duels, and I don't know what. It's always a big problem, in my opinion, that this is kind of the case in this. Like if we look at Kal Katarn, for example, he plays after the Empire is basically destroyed and so on, and there's a power vacuum in the Empire now that it's gone. There are new forces that try to snag the power. You still have the stormtroopers. You still have some bases that are still operating. It's not gone. There's still stuff to do. That's also an interesting period, and that also allowed to have Kal Katarn some impact. And in the fanfiction, or in the not fanfiction, in the expanded universe, that's the correct term. In the expanded universe, Kal Katarn had a huge impact and a role. He, for example, originally was responsible for the star, getting the Death Star plans and so on. So there's definitely stuff in this era going on. But I don't know. I have to say, I did not expect, like, you could say it's a good thing that the game has such some emotional impact on you, and I would agree. But I feel like it's just because of the twist, not because of all the other stuff that I did in this game. Like, most part of the game we spent chasing down our other crazy Jedi friend. Like, if we go to the Bedlam Raiders, Dagan Gera. Yeah, we chased this guy down and fought him 3 times in the game, and so on. But he's not that interesting of a villain. Like, his motives seem also strange. And unfortunately, even though it's about this Tenelor place, it's kind of disconnected from this. And you kill Ravis, and so much Bedlam Raider stuff is here in the game, where we have to worry about. And then all of a sudden, at the end, it doesn't really play anything more. And suddenly, it's only about Boat and Carter and Merrin and Cal. It's kind of, yeah, I don't know, difficult. You often feel like, what is going to happen to these poor characters? Because there needs to be new twists in the next game and new challenges and so on. It can't just be straightforward. There has to be some kind of struggle later on as well. And yeah, I don't know. My worry is a bit that this then becomes too big or too frustrating. I feel like in a story, like in a Star Wars story, is often a hero's journey. You start as a small Jedi person. that's the correct term. The Jedi person, we know it. And you become stronger, you have a master, you learn from them, the master skill. Like, a lot of this stuff is here already also in this game, and using the classic hero's journey formula, if you think about it. He finds his love and so on. But the problem is, it's hard to see that at the end, we won't overcome the Empire. The game has, in my opinion, or the story, not necessarily purely on the game, has a problem that there is no big threat except for the Galactic Empire. Like all the characters we had kind of an involvement with, like in the first game, we had Triller. In this game, I don't know, we have Dagon Gera, who has his agenda. Like, all of these characters we have faced previously are dead. Maybe I forgot somebody important from Jedi Fallen Order, but you know, here Davis is dead, Ravis is dead, Dagon Gera is dead, Bode, it seems, is dead. Not sure what about Denvik is, that was also established here. We know we can't kill Vader, we can't kill the Emperor. Maybe what is... And then we, in the next game, we still need to build up new stuff. And this is kind of the problem in all of this. Like, that's why the game might feel too big. Like, in the previous games, it feels like the story... And in the previous games, in the classic trilogy, you have Darth Vader at the beginning and you have Darth Vader at the very end. He's not going, or he is only defeated at the very end, and has a very, yeah, it's my opinion, very powerful twist, I would call it. And also the Emperor is talked about in the first film, in episode 4, and then appears the first time in episode 2, I think. I think at least he's mentioned. Like, the Emperor is definitely mentioned. He says, like, Vader says something like, yeah, the Emperor won't be as patient as I am. You think, okay, he's also not that patient. And, yeah, but you still have these characters. The build-up is simply there. And this game, since it's a game, and it always feels unsatisfying if you defeat the opponent in combat, and then later there's a cutscene and he survives or escapes. That's, in my opinion, always stupid. And that's even stupid in film. That's why I hate the idea of the Emperor surviving episode 6. That's, in my opinion, just a terrible, terrible storytelling idea. Because it kind of destroys the impacted message of it. Even though Lucas and Expand Universe people had the same idea, that the Empire transfers his spirit into a clone and comes back. So I like this idea better. And it seems like that's also what Disney is going for, but I'm not the hugest fan of that, to be completely honest. Just let the Emperor be dead and be defeated by Luke Skywalker, and I don't know. Sometimes he also... The problem is storytelling is always about conflict. You need conflicts, and then you need at some point new conflicts. And I feel like in some cases, and Star Wars was a huge offender of this always, but there are also other franchises who have the same problem. Like, sometimes I feel like there must be time for peace. There must be time, especially in the hero's journey, for the happy end. And then the story must just end. It's always a terrible idea if you say, yeah, and then they had peace. But peace is very boring. So 6 years later, this guy comes and he brings new struggle to it, and so on and so forth. Like, that's always, you feel like if you know that just because the content machine has to be fed, like the franchise needs to be fired, the new stories have to be written, you just have to come up with more and more and more and more conflicts. And if you do all the big epic conflicts all the time, then the previous epic conflicts for me often feel like necessarily pointless. You say, well, they achieved the victory there, but of course a new threat is at the horizon, and when this threat is defeated, a new threat is on the horizon, and then it felt very pointless to ever defeat the current threat. I mean, you could argue that's just how humanity works. That it's always in our history. We had terrible wars in the present, in the past, and now we also have this terrible war going in Ukraine and so on. You would have thought that people might have learned out of this, but we also had a very long time of peace, at least here in Europe, and that you can't forget, and a lot of things is this. But often, I guess, people struggle with writing stories in peace times, I guess. And especially for me, this is often a bit unfortunate. That the only way I see it is like go the historical approach and don't use the same character that says, yeah, this character defeated this guy, this guy, this guy, and that guy. Now a new threat is on the rise. And that always feels stupid, in my opinion. If you just never allow a character to rest or have a happy end or whatever style, depending on the style of story, like dark fantasy or something like that. Happy ends are, of course, less a thing in some genres. I know why I didn't dash there. But I liked always with Star Wars the idea that they then would just go to a different era of the galaxy. Like they have so many they have 40, 20, 60, 100,000 years to find eras and places of interesting stories where they can completely invent new stuff, make it up, and write conflicts there that have happened, because life is always kind of, or history is always filled with conflicts that repeat because humanity is stupid. That's unfortunate truth. But with all its glory and all its bright ideas and bright people, sometimes we just forget what is actually important. And yeah, I don't know. It's a bit why I'm struggling a bit with the story here of this particular game at the very end now. Like I personally feel like, yeah, okay, where are we going from here? All the bad guys are dead except for the really, really big bad guys, and we can't, you know, it makes no sense that Kel confronts those. Like, he can't confront the Emperor. That is stupid. Why would he do this? Like, it's not his fight. It's not his fight to confront Darth Vader or I don't know who. That's just the problem. Like, it makes no sense that this is the case. Like, he can't win the fight, and I'm controlling the character, and I can't just, as a player, remove this knowledge that he won't defeat Darth Vader and he won't defeat the Emperor. It won't happen, except this is an alternative universe story. Then this might work, but since that seems to be not the case, you know, it feels so pointless in what he's doing. It's often a problem with these already established stories and then just adding stories out of thin air to it all the time. That's just how I feel about it. Like, I know I'm going into circles here and I've repeated myself like 3 times, it feels, but it's an interesting, for me, discussion to have. Where are they going from here? What is the goal of this franchise? Where do they want to go, Merrin and Kel, from here? Didn't Merrin and Kel have deserved some peacetime together? Now we have also the very, like, even having Kata with them and adopting her, basically, if that makes sense. That already is a huge conflict, because it's just losing her father. Her mother was killed by the Empire, her father was killed by us. What kind of person will she become with this? Especially, this is almost like the Elrond story, where his parents are almost killed by the Sons of Feanor, by Maedhros and Maglor and their men. And then at the end, they have pity on them because they already killed the uncles of Elrond in a very young age and put them in the forest to starve. A very grim story. Well, though I think it was Maglor who also pitied them and tried to find them, but he couldn't. And then they were lost, and presumably both of them are dead. And with Elrond and his brother Elros, they could not do the same, and so they took them with them, and they grew up there. And Tolkien writes, even though it's hard to believe, love grew between them, and they seemed to, I won't have a good time, but it seemed to have to, you know, some kind of almost redemption arc for sons of Fëanor, at least for Maedhros and Maglor. I think it was Maedhros actually who searched for the uncles of, like, the brothers of Elrond's mother in the forest. Now that I think about it. I think I said it was Maglor. Now it was Maedhros there, and Maglor took pity on Elrond and Elros. And so they grew up. It's hard to believe that the person who just invades your home, kills everybody, your mother, I don't know, jumps down a cliff to escape, and you think she's dead, your father is kind of gone, and now the guys who did all of that are responsible for this cruelness of attacking like a refugee camp and killing all the innocent people there, just for the gain of their Silmarillion, of these precious gemstones, the powerful gemstones and artifacts, I should say, most powerful artifact in the history of Middle-earth, or the history of the Tolkien universe. And yeah, just claiming one of them made them do this, and then yeah, he grew up, and it might have been. It's an interesting story in this regard, and this kind of is almost reminiscent of this. Like, though here's a different twist to it, because her mother was killed by the Empire, so she doesn't like the Empire, or has a motive to not like the Empire, and we killed her father, so she has a motive to not like us. She has a motive to struggle with the Force, and so on and so forth. And now we in addition are hunted by the Empire, so that at some point the Empire kills Kel and Merrin is a thing for her to happen. And that's just, in my opinion, far too tragic for a little girl, like, from story-wise. Like, I don't know, it feels very grim in a way. I mean, it was kind of the same for Luke Skywalker. He also had his parents, like his adoptive parents, like Uncle Owen and his wife were also killed by the Empire, and so on. He learned that his father is responsible for the death of so many. And is Darth Vader. That's also a shock. His mother died at his birth. So it's also kind of very tragic for a Luke Skywalker character, but he is lucky that he's able to accept and learn from very wise people and grow from there, I think. The question is, can Cutter do this as well? But here it's like, okay, we are even... Oh, what is this? I've lost this here. Let's check this. Force Echo.
Zig could knock this dent out if you'd like.
Oh, no thanks. Helps me remember how I got it.
And how's that?
Bounty hunter. Made the mistake of pulling a blaster on my little girl.
Mistakes. Boat talks with Doma about how he obtained his jetpack. A typically blood-soaked affair that worked out well for Boat, but not his opponent. But yeah, that's kind of the problem. I mean, Boat is represented as a character who would do everything for his daughter's safety, and so you can kind of understand it, but yeah, at the end he did the opposite of it, if he knew it or not, by pushing her away, deciding to fight us, even though we said, just put the weapons down, let's talk. He didn't want to. And there's nothing we could change, and his betrayal was just really, really, really big, like. And Mary makes a very good point here. That's one of the lines I really liked. That yeah, basically some beasts also do everything to protect their offspring. But we are men. We are humans, or we are, we are not beasts. Though it's always a kind of a tough decision. It's not like the weirdest thing is why the motive, I think, also of Bo doesn't feel that strong, is that nothing has happened. Like, he kills Cordova because he can potentially build something to get to this place anyway. And we get there even though he kills him. It doesn't matter. We get to Tenelor even without Cordova. We find a way. Because, of course, there's a way. Else the game would end there. You know what I mean? It's like he does it because he fears a future where something could happen that hasn't even happened yet. Or we don't even... Well, it's really difficult to evaluate if that is actually some kind of possibility. Question is, why is Scoova Stev here?
Lad, you're all right. Oh, what a burden off our wee shoulders.
Were you worried?
Well, I just had the most loathsome encounter with one of those battle droids. I wanted they might have found you too.
What happened?
The metal beast told me to present my tribute to the Bedlam leaders. Won't be tight any lubber who dares to steal a fish from Skoova Stev.
Did you get into a fight with a battle droid?
No, they took leave of my spot. Perhaps they were frightened by my crude gestures, eh?
I'm glad you're okay, Skoova.
Keep an eye out, Cal. There'll be strange folk in these waters. Oh, lad, I've a powerful itch on my back. If only it weren't covered by my suit.
You could take off your suit.
Bo thinks he's clever. Well, lad, what if I wanted to go swimming? Then what would I do with no suit?
You could put it back on.
Bah! Nobody likes a know-it-all, lad.
When they stop talking, I try to have a conversation here.
I have a matter of grave importance to discuss. I fear, on account of me helm, that you've got the impression that I depend on my suit for breathing.
I hadn't given it too much thought.
I could hold my breath for ages.
Oh, okay. Got it.
You didn't believe me. Fine. I'll prove myself.
You really don't have to.
Here I go. Holding my breath in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, very impressive. You don't have to do this, you know. See you around, Skoova.
Still holding his breath. Good old Scoova Stev. But yeah. It's... I don't know. For me, a bit unfortunate, simply.
I'm your ally.
No! That is when the but I now get the guy. I can't force persuade him right now. One character. Yeah, this is also a problem in the game. Let's clip it. It's yeah, you know what I mean. It's also not like I'm disappointed in the story, but I just think, is it really a good idea what they are doing there with the story? Like, the twist worked pretty well, I have to admit this. It was really a twist I was not fully seeing. Though there were some implications that Bode, I don't know, was not happy with our decision. I definitely noticed that. And it's good that they wrote it in a way that you could notice that. It's important, I think. I'm not sure, though, if I said like where they go with it. If that makes sense. Like, that's the biggest problem with this. Do I like the idea of where they go with this story? And I have to say, I don't know. I have no idea if I like that. I think it's too much in my opinion. It's too grim. As said, Kata, they put a lot of weight on her shoulders. Like, she has to process that we just killed her father. Now she has also to hang around with the killers of her father. If this is rational, I mean, she has at least seen that we tried to not kill her father. That for sure helps in this situation. And we tried to talk with him, and he just would not listen. And at the end, we had to put him down. But it doesn't change that we just killed her father. That is, in my opinion, yeah, a too strong motive. And we put so much the writers put so much pressure on Kata here. I'm not sure. Like, she also has deserved to be happy and have a good life. And it's just the problem with the constructedness of stories. You know, of course, Bode is perfect at disguising and fooling around everything, but for whatever reason they find him or his wife, and they were not there, and then his wife is like, it's a really strange story in my opinion. Like, why would they just kill the wife of Bode if they don't know who he is? Like, there's no reason for that. She bought time. Okay, they maybe got on his... Oh, interesting. Here's a repair thing or something. You know, it's interesting. Like it's forced. It happens off screen. And you don't know the situation, why this is. It's just a forced situation to give us a certain kind of setup and motivation. You know what I mean? It's just... The explanation sounds very yeah, not that fleshed out, if that makes sense. Okay, interesting music happening there. I think we're for battle in a moment, or no? I have no idea. But yeah, it's just hard to tell what happens with her. It's like she has like... Is she a good candidate for a Padawan if she lost both her parents and has all the right to hate the Empire and, I don't know, strike them down? That's usually not something very fitting for Jedi stuff. As a Jedi, you usually want to... You want to be patient and peaceful and so on, and not used as weapons, as here, I think, put it. Like, all the life there was fighting and so on. At the very end, not at the very end, but they just had to fight all the time. There was never kind of peace. They could never follow the peaceful aspects of being a Jedi and so on. That's a bit unfortunate, I think, in this era, but this era, or however it's pronounced, kind of forces this behavior that Jedis become more of a weapon, like Force users with powerful abilities, doing stuff, and Empire, and I don't know what. It just seems strange to me. The Mogu there. It just seems very strange to me where they might go there. Like, she's definitely, I guess, not the best candidate. I'm too greedy. I'm dead.
Help me here.
Can you jump down? come on, game.
Need a stim.
Yeah, it's just for me very difficult to explore these ideas, the world, especially the story in this regard. To not like, it feels so pointless at this point. Just and like I said, I think the biggest problem with this might really be that there is no big enemy left, except for the really big enemies, and we know they can't win against them because it's not their fate to defeat them. Or it's not like we know how they already die, and you play this as a Star Wars fan. I think there might be, of course, instances of I hate this. That I see as definitely as a big problem in this in the approach to the storytelling. I'll probably die here. Can't use my abilities. I always summon somebody. I don't want to summon the thing. Like, why is it on the same button? Like, it makes so little sense, chat. Can you stop doing that? It's just so incredibly annoying. Camera won't switch to the second character. Like, I have to fight the there's some clunkiness into this game, unfortunately. Can we just hit him? Of course he doesn't die. That was not what I inputted. Really annoying, chat. Really, really annoying. But yeah, that is a huge problem for me personally. Seeing how they develop the story, and that there's like in the next game, I have no clue what the course in the next game might be. And so the game goes over missing urgency. On top of that, another problem is, of course, not only the urgency of this. Another problem is definitely the fact that
let's keep going.
These games are very long. Like, there's, of course, not everything you do in the game is like story related. But you definitely, like, even though not every is story related, you do it. It's a long game. It's a lot of story in this, and we already had one game with also a lot of story in it. And you wonder, if I have so much stuff and story in the thing, focus it for a moment. Oh god, there's this annoying entity there. Can we, please game, can we grab... Dude! Why? Like, why do you want to make me so angry? Just grab him with the force, man. It's just impossible. Chat, sorry for getting angry here, but he would not grab the stupid flying droid there. I tried it 16 times. It never worked. Let me go to the main menu because the game is, I think, bugged out in this regard. Every time I try to use a convince person, like my mind confusion, my mind trick ability, the game always says, tries to summon a thing, like an echo, I think is the name. These riding and these mounts that you can use. It's really annoying. Try to get the third skill point here in case people wondering what is he even doing all the time. So I have something to watch at, and at the same time I can just share my thoughts on this particular game. And try to explain why, I don't know, I feel a little bit empty, why I feel not fully satisfied with the story, even though I think it's not bad. It's a really strange situation with the story here. I think gameplay-wise and so on, except for a bit of clunkiness and bugginess here and there, the game is actually fantastic and great, but oh god, the hammer bro. Would have been so great to use.
I need one. I'm hit.
Another unit move up. You move fast.
Enemy closing in.
You have to be kidding me.
Stop them.
Someone get a shot. No survivors. I can take you here.
I'm your ally. Toss it. Let's fight together.
That was nothing.
Right here, buddy.
Why is there another person?
Want to protect me.
You made a mistake. It appears that I found the Jedi.
Excuse me. There's a focus here. And Chef, we didn't get the... Oh, we could find the Mogu again, which is actually coming up here.
Hurry!
Okay. Slowly making skill point progression with late. It takes a lot of points to do anything. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. Which you could say is a good thing. Ah, finally it works. What on earth? happening? Yeah.
Removing target. Loss of functionality.
Help me.
Attack successful.
Oh.
Hey, BD.
Who's shooting at me? Oh, it's actually a mechanism of the enemy here. Was a lot of points. Fortunately, I ran completely out of juice. We could try fighting this guy and lowering it here. Oh, it's dangerous, I think. Oh well, it kind of works. Oh, it doesn't count when our friends kill it. I have to kill a few Mogus for that, and it seems. We're almost dead, that is a big problem. Yeah, sometimes the game is just so janky. Yeah, I hope people can understand my reasoning, at least to some degree, why I struggle a bit, or I feel a bit weird about the story in this game. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely far from terrible. Like it's not like that. It's just I'm wondering, even though I think the story is pretty decent, why do I feel a bit disappointed? Is the wrong word, but I feel so, I don't know, it feels so kind of empty. It's a very nihilistic story again.
Okay, I'm ready.
And the now that it's over, there's so many questions that what are we going, where are we going from here, what do we do next, and so on, that that remain unanswered. And that I think is a bit unfortunate in this regard.
You want to protect me.
For real? And yeah, that's my, not concern, but oh, there are AT-ATs here in this region. It takes far too much effort to fight those. So it might be interesting to watch these guys fighting the AT-AT, see who wins. This unfortunately destroyed here puts them at a serious disadvantage.
here.
Okay, thanks.
Toss me one, BD. Quick, help!
Funny. Almost. Somewhere here were some bigger enemies, chat. Oh, what is this?
More priorite. Wonder what this will fetch at Doma's shop. Could use some help, buddy.
Be careful here. Now we have our Bilemore friend. So there was that. Wait, we could check in this cave. There was this one NPC wanted to sell stuff to the Bedlam Raiders, to Ravis. Convinced her that she should not do that. Happy we did. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel when it comes the story of this game. Like I said, it's definitely not like it's bad by any means. Definitely not. But just feels a little bit off for me. A little bit too dramatic. Some story parts, like I said, the whole Centauri Cree and what was the other Dagengara story. I don't know. It feels so too disconnected. To like you do it so much, and at the end it has so little to do. And the big reveal has nothing to do with it. Like the big reveal is that Boat is like betraying us.
Now, BD.
We're slowly getting there. Hello. Oh, got some palm seeds. Great. And there we have a powerful adversary.
Help, BD.
Almost. Oh, we got a skill point for wrong button. Okay, we got all 3 skill points. That's the last skill. The highest skill, not the last skill. I don't want to farm now more skill points, if I'm honest with you people. Now we can get, almost got all the stuff. Promise, we had already had one, only had to farm 2 skill points. Which is basically on the fly. This is 2 skill points more than we would get, like, almost everything. There's 2 skill points left. So 4 skill points, we would need more to basically get everything, considering how many, how much progression we lost at times. That's a pretty fair deal, I have to say. Let's go to talk to Turgle really quick, because we found his shell. Maybe we can talk about him with this. Talk to him about this might be interesting. And yeah, it's this game. It's a really cool game. But it definitely has its flaws. And I'm not sure if the story... don't get me wrong, the story I don't see as flaw. It's just maybe comes down to personal taste. I just try to figuring out why I wouldn't say I didn't like it. It sounds too strong, but why I feel the story feels a bit off for me. And why I'm a bit... especially that it leaves you behind so empty.
My genius has paid off again!
What happened?
Well, I told an Imperial officer that I knew about a secret priorite deposit.
Do you know a secret priorite deposit?
No, but I figured he'd pay me first and I'd find one along the way. So me and Olympi walked the Kobo Plains for hours. We're walking and walking and walking and walking.
Okay.
Impy's starting to get real mad. Suddenly, I spot something shiny in the distance. Old Impy runs ahead to find...
a priorite deposit?
Nope. A Rancor caught in the majestic Kobo sun. I hid behind a rock until the Rancor left. Want to know the best part?
What?
The Imp had 5 credits on him. Score!
Oh, Turgle. You have to love him.
Another time.
Hey, Cal. Let's talk another time. Mine's racing with ideas right now. You got the stuff? Ah, good.
No, this is unfortunately bugged. We can't do the bound. This I find stupid.
Later, yeah?
And you see, yeah, we got pretty much...
Oh, that cabbage, he is one cute kid.
Yeah. You ever thought about having kids?
Me? With kids? No, no. I mean, well, yeah, okay. No, wait, what was the question?
I didn't think it was possible, but you're actually blushing.
Oh, no, I'm not. This isn't a normal color of my face. A very normal, typical color. I think the whole kid question is like gambling. If you're gonna bet, bet big. But if you're not feeling it, there's no shame in walking away from the table.
That's actually good fatherly advice.
You think so? Later.
We talk to Monk.
How's everyone holding up?
Not too good with the Empire all over, but what's the sense in getting worked up over something you can't control?
My master always said, the foolish one lies awake worrying about what he cannot change. The wise one sleeps.
Sage advice.
I've always had trouble sleeping.
Well, don't lose any sleep over us. We can manage on our own. After all, this isn't the first time Kobo's faced a disaster, and probably not the last.
That's true. Okay. That we can't use the stuff. Either you just found fun. Like I would love to do the bounties, but it doesn't work. We don't know where the next bounty is. I read when even if you go there, where the bounty should be, it doesn't show up. So it needs to be triggered by talking with Cage, and that doesn't work, unfortunately, chat. But if it gets patched, and I see in a patch now, we might boot up the game, do the last few bounties. and see what's going on there with her. So yeah, I would say that's enough Star Wars for now. Kind of. It was like another long, mostly a talking stream, like where we just try to discuss my thoughts, feelings about this game. Still, I would recommend it after a few more patches on PC. I feel like it's still not in a very good shape, and there are just so many little things in this game. Like, there was a cool tweet by, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I think. Yeah, we talked about this, where the maker of Zelda said, yeah, we were done in March already, but we still need polish. And so we delayed the game for a year. And yeah, now and the game comes out, and it's like it's so complex with building features that you can put all kinds of stuff together in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And it has so much physics stuff going on and weird possible interaction. All of this needs to be tested, which is a massive time-consuming endeavor. And they release a game and it works. It's bug-free, kind of. And like it really runs well. You don't see weird little bugs like here. Like, it just is a well-polished game. And this shows just, this is how it's done. This is AAA. Like, that should be the standard, and not, I should say, yeah, that's actually normal. That it's like, I understand that in big games there can always some little bug and whatever, but this game has so many little bugs plus the performance issues. It's at least nothing major, game breaking most of the time, except for not the bounty missions. It's by design. That would be stupid though. I didn't like that. If it would be by design that we can't do the bounty missions after you completed the main story. That's just seems strange, but I think it's a bug. I even heard in NG Plus it also could be still be bugged. So yeah, it's not great if you can't do that part of content of the game. So very unfortunate. Is there anything I want to discuss further when it comes to Jedi Fallen or Jedi Survivor? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it was a wild journey. There's a lot of content in this game, but at the end, story-wise, I really feel very empty here because there's just so little hope. That's, I think, my biggest personal problem with the game. There's so little hope left. Yeah, they have Tenelor, they could just hide there and be happy, but is this the end? Like, everything you have went through, everything you have fought through, just to hide on the planet and just hope the Empire gets demolished by somebody else. It's very difficult in this regard, I think. The hidden path stuff, I don't know if it really plays big into the story. And in the end, it's not the hidden path taking down the Empire, it's Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan and Yoda, you know, all these, but mainly Luke Skywalker and his friends. And the rebels, of course. Should definitely mention the rebels, but in the end, it's them winning, and it's not any of this. And this makes, you know, the tragedy, like, you feel like this can't have a happy end, like this, you know. And it's already, this game also is not really ending on a very happy note, and that makes you to kind of feel sad at the end, which is not bad, but it was not what I expect usually from a Star Wars game. I think the first game kind of did this quite a bit better. There was more hope, it was more positive in that way. And I guess in dark times, in difficult times, especially we're facing right now in the real world often, you like a little something to brighten your day is at least something I personally prefer a little bit more. But yeah, I would say maybe I call it a day already, because it's a nice little stream. I'm not sure what I want to do next. Maybe I start the stream again, we play Zelda, or we play Elden Ring and practice Millennia. I'm not sure, chat, if I want to do this. Maybe I should work on the review here a little bit, now that I have my thoughts kind of sorted out, ordered in a way. I don't know, chat. I'm a bit conflicted there. maybe I just end the stream, and if I just stream Zelda or so, I might, yeah, I don't know, chat. We'll play Zelda. I could restart the stream, you just hold out for a moment, or I just do a break here. I'm not sure yet. Or maybe just for the YouTube people, let me just get the end screen thing here. So this was it. This was it for Jedi Survivor. Thank you people for watching. If you watch this on YouTube, press the like button. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. It's not fully 100%. It's mostly 100%. If the bounty stuff though is still working, or it's still working, it's patched in an upcoming patch, we might revisit this and do the bounty hunter missions. That I definitely would be interested in doing, and I assume it won't take that long. I always say this and then it takes very long, but I might invest a stream or so. And next is potentially, I'm not sure how I handle the Gollum game yet. Maybe I do something on the game channel. Maybe I do something on the main channel. I definitely do something on the main channel about the Gollum game, which comes out in a few days. Let me just look it up really quick, so I don't tell you things that are not true. I have Steam opened here. No, of course not. Let's see, Gollum. Lord of the Rings Gollum game. Comes out 25th of May in 3 days. And that is also when we will play it. Let me just see, 25th. Yeah, on Thursday it comes out. Okay, so I can't... Oh god. That might be tough. I can't... I have to... just thinking about an appointment I might have this week that I can't put on Thursday then. I thought about putting it on Thursday. So there's that. But whatever. That is potentially the next, I wouldn't call it a big game, we might look into, because as a Lord of the Rings fan and with a Tolkien channel, I want to cover that. We pump in some time. I'm not sure if I'd stream it on Twitch though. Maybe I do a full playthrough. Maybe I do a full offline recorded playthrough and upload it as a little Let's Play series. Because there I might focus on book differences and stuff like that. And see what I can do. Definitely want to do a review and so on. I decided against asking for a review copy. I just will buy the game normally, play it when it comes out, see what it has to offer, give first impressions, give a review, make a Let's Play series we'll talk a lot about how well it fits into Tolkien's written universe and not versus potentially film universe, though that's not Tolkien, so that's the universe of somebody else, but difficult topic. However, thank you people for watching this. As said, there might be the bounty missions still left. I think we did pretty much everything in this game. There might be a few database entries missing. We didn't get every shard of priorite. We did not get every piece of BD cosmetics and lightsaber stuff and beards and haircuts and pens for Kel, but overall we got most of it, and it was a very thorough Let's Play. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you people. See you next time. Goodbye.